Okay, so welcome, Melody. I'm so happy we finally got this sorted out and our tech problems seem to be taken care of for now.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Beauty Pro Brand Lab, and I am so excited to talk with you about creating a product line and actually like formulating products, working with a private labeler, having a beauty line. It's just like such a cool topic. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Melody, for anybody who doesn't know you.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I am excited to be here with you guys. My name is Melody Bockelman. I am the founder of Private Label Insider. You guys can find me on Instagram at Beauty Biz Expert. I help people create beauty brands. So, anyone that wants to have their own product line, we have been working in this industry since 2004, helping people create their own brands. I've worked with everyone, salon owners, celebrities, just regular entrepreneurs or people who want to have their own product line. So I love what I do. I've helped over 5,000 brand owners.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a long time.
That is so cool. Can you like do a little name dropping of maybe some of the brands that you've worked with?
Sure. So Cora Tampons was one of my first brands. So Molly started a tampon line for people that, she did the one-to-one model. So she was my first paid client. Mixed Chicks, a hair brand, Curl Mix, sorry, I have so many hair brands. A Voice of Hair, Dr. Anika, she runs Opulence MD, they were just on Shark Tank.
Wow, that's so exciting.
Naturals. Yeah, it's fun. Native Deodorant, they sold for 100 million. Like
Whoa.
I've done a lot of brands and a lot of just, I call them indie brands, right? A lot of smaller brands that just are unknown or smaller, but we have a large community of beauty brands.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So you essentially help take people from like, I have this idea, but I don't know like what to do, all the way to like helping them to like make more sales and eventually maybe even like sell their company for hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions. Well, 100 million is the biggest exit that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people come to us with an idea. And so we just kind of figure out, depending on their budget and the length of time and how committed they are to the business, because I never want to give the idea this is easy. It's not easy. How committed they are to the business, and we produce products on it. And I've honed it down to a science almost on the formulas of launching and how to create. And every person is different, which is the beautiful thing about it, because that's how there can be so many different products. So let's say we have a whole bunch of salon owners. Well, somebody specializes in color, someone specializes in curly hair, someone specializes in all the different things. And so we can create a brand that really just targets who you are and who your audience is. And that's kind of how I work, or how we work here.
Melody, your business is called Private Label Insider. Can you tell us like what is private labeling and how does it work?
It's so funny. So as a branding specialist, I wish I would have renamed my business, because the only people that start to understand what private label is once they try to go create a brand, they're like, oh, that's what private label is.
Yeah.
So private labeling is super, super simple. It's just taking a lab's product and putting your label on it. That's all it is. The product is tested, it's completed. You just get to design it and put a label on it and go to market. Now, I love private label for so many reasons. A lot of brands that you see in the marketplace, they're really not different. The formulations are very, very similar. There may be one or two differences, but what's totally different is the brand story and how it's told with artwork. But what can take a lot of time in creating a brand is if you're going to either make your products at home or customize that. But you cut all of that time out, like the 9 to 12, 18 months, by taking a lab's already tested product. You can put your label on it, you're good to go. So when you private label, what you're basically doing is partnering with the manufacturer's chemist who has done all the research to make sure the products are safe. We all are familiar with WIN in the hair care business, right? How making people's hair fall out. Well, that was a custom formulation. It wasn't really fully safe. And there was repercussions to that. So when you private label, the safety testing is done. It's called repeat insult patch testing is done. So everything, the formula is stable, it's not growing mold. Everything we know about this formula means that you're ready to sell it or give it to your customers or your clients, and you can feel really, really confident about it. So that's, in a nutshell, what private label is. Inherently, people say to me, yeah, but I want my own thing.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, is like, I want something unique.
Yeah. Okay, unique comes in the packaging and the positioning and the branding.
Right.
Like, that's what unique is. So I'll give you an example. And we just moved, so excuse me, y'all, but I'm just saying up. So This is you guys know what hair oil, right? Hair
Mm-hmm.
oil is one of our favorite. Let's pretend that this was filled with hair oil. We see glass droppers all the time. What made this whole experience unique was the tube that they put it in. That's it. We can change and make something unique just by the packaging, just by the outer packaging. We don't necessarily have to, the formula doesn't necessarily have to be unique because let's face it, beauty's been around forever. We know it
Yeah.
works. We know it works, right? Now let's say that you're listening, like, okay, great, but I'm making my own product in my salon and I give it to my clients. So how can I get that shelf ready? And I'm sure there's some of you guys that may be asking that because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of hairdressers they make their own products. They've mixed a combination of things. And if that's you, what you can do is you can take that formulation and you can write it down on a piece of paper as if you're giving me a cookie recipe, right? I put a half a teaspoon of this, half a teaspoon of that. And then we take that formulation and we give it to a cosmetic chemist and a manufacturer, and they make it commercial ready for you. So you don't
Okay, so
have to
there's
have
two
your
different
inventory.
ways of doing it, but that would
Two
that
different
still
ways.
be considered private labeling?
No, it's not. It's your own custom. However, really, as if you want your own product and you're someone that's already making something, you know, I love private label, but there's another way that you can do it. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit longer process.
Okay, I want to talk to you about both of those things because both of them sound very interesting. So let me see in the comments what you guys are thinking for brands, right? Or for like a line of products that you've been kind of thinking about. So Brooklyn says her business is Nidia Beauty. So guys, go check it out if you want to see an example of someone who's been working with Melody to launch her product line. I think that's so cool. So you can find her on Instagram as Shop Nidia Beauty, launching August 12th. That's so exciting. Only a few weeks away. Congratulations, Brooklyn. So Hannah says, I've been dying to drop some brow products that are easy for everybody to use. Amazing. I feel like brows are like becoming such a focal point when it comes to beauty. I'm sure you could attest to that, right?
Yep. Brows and eyelashes, super popular.
Yes. Melissa says, I do custom foundations, powders, and lip products, and I have a small collection of private label skincare products. Amazing. So, Melissa, since you already have some products, I hope that today you can also walk away with some ideas from Melody for like how to make them best sellers, how to promote them, market them, all of that. Emma says, I've thought about it, but I think I would do it further down the road. I want to create a skincare line. Jessica wants to create some slimming gels and skin tightening creams.
Very popular.
Yeah. Alexa says, I wanted to have my own product line for so long. I wanted a hair care line, makeup line, skincare. I would love to have several product lines for all beauty supplies. Amazing.
I want to come back to Alexis later.
Okay, so we could talk about like all of those
Yes, all
ideas.
those things. Yeah.
Bethany says, yes, I would love to have an oil balm facial cleanser. So she's an esthetician. She's got a facial spa. So
Here's one of my favorite clients. Oh, they're all my favorite, but it's an oil balm facial cleanser. It's fantastic product to start with. They're really, really
amazing.
popular right now.
Okay, so Melody, let's talk about first of all private labeling because you said there's two different ways to do that, but let's talk private labeling first. If someone has an idea, so let's say Bethany, she wants to create her oil cleanser, oil balm facial cleanser. You have this idea. What is the first step that you should take from like to take that idea and actually start working on it towards a product?
So it's awesome. And I guess the first step is understanding where you're going to sell it. Because if you're just selling it in your salon, then you're your only competitor. But what I asked that question for is because one of my favorite sayings is marketplace sets the value. So if your only competition is yourself, well then you can price it and we can get the sizing right. But if you are going to eventually go outside of your salon or store and you want to do an e-com, the first step is actually doing a competitive matrix and understanding the marketplace.
Right.
Because why do we do that? We need to understand what are consumers used to in terms of packaging, the size, the pricing. A lot of times in our own bubble, we price things at what we think we could afford or what we would pay. But the marketplace will sometimes say like, hey, if you sell that face serum for $12, nobody's going to buy it because they expect to pay $60. So the first step is do a competitive matrix, understand what the marketplace is, and then understand what your benchmarks of products are that you're looking for. So that's step number 2. Is understand the benchmarks. You want to understand like, okay, I really love this brand's scent, I love this brand's texture, whatever that is. because now we're in a position of understand what your dream product is, and then we can start contacting it.
Okay, so first step is competitive analysis, which I think in any business you have to know what else is out there. Would you like, do people start to feel discouraged when they see like, oh my gosh, there's so many other like brands and products out there, like how do I make mine unique?
Yeah, all the time. And one thing that I always tell people, I just did some research for lash growth serum, and she was like, gosh, there's so many lash serums out there, so many lash brands out there. But the research showed that 48% of women surveyed have not used a lash serum and want to.
Yeah.
So while we think that, oh, the market is saturated, guys, there's a lot of people in the world. So the market is not saturated. No one has anything cornered. There's absolutely enough room for you.
Absolutely. I think so too. So do you think that because we're talking with beauty business owners who have like a clientele, should they also get their clientele involved in like that market research phase?
Yes, and so one of the things that I always have my clients do is a focus group within their own audience if they have one. What we're looking for is, there's how they like the product, what they expect out of a product, what kind of benefits they want from that product. So are they looking to have longer lashes? Are they looking to have glowy skin? Like what are they really looking for?
Yeah.
Because that language will come back when we're developing out our marketing plan. So a focus group is really, really important. Even if it's just you get a group of your clients together, you're like, hey, y'all want to come over and we'll have some tea and we'll do this together? They love that kind of stuff. Most of the time they'll say yes.
Yes, I love that. And you'll probably get a lot of ideas for them of things that you didn't think about. So you do that like base work. You've got the inspiration. You think, okay, this is the product I really want to focus on. What if you're like Alexis? I think it was Alexis who said, yeah. So Alexis says, I want to have a hair care line, makeup line, skincare line. I want to have several product lines. What if you're like, I don't even know which one I want to go with first. Like I've got so many ideas.
Yes. And so let's talk about that, right? The thing is that you have to do something that you're willing to talk about for years. So I always teach my clients, you're going to talk about step 0 and step 1, meaning the basic foundation of whatever it is over and over and over again. So you got to pick something that you are passionate about. So if you love all things, I think there was someone else that said they want to do multiple things, but they also love color cosmetics. Well, color cosmetics is really your jam. You need to go into color cosmetics. So pick one category. We saturate that. Honestly, you don't even create a full line. You just create the core products. Saturate that, get some market share, make some money. Then you're able to go on and do line extensions confidently, and you already have an audience built up.
So do you think it's best to start with one product or a few products?
So my philosophy is start with 1 to 3.
Okay. And they're all in kind of the same category?
All in the same category. So let's say you want to do a hairline. Do 1 to 3 of the things that you think need to happen. Skincare, you can do 1 to 4, I guess, but we really want to create systems and bundles. And from a marketing perspective, there's a lot of content to create.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content. And when you have 5, 10 lines, it's almost overwhelming. And you can't make any traction.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great advice. Okay. So we've laid that foundation. We've chosen the products that we want. We've done like our market research. And then we're like, once we've done all that research, we have a very clear picture in our mind of the product that we want to create. What is the next step?
So now you're ready for manufacturers. And manufacturers are not marketers. So we have to approach it with that mindset. Manufacturing is one of the only industries that's not customer centric. Some of them have great customer service, majority of them are not. And so what you need to do is create a wide net of manufacturers. So it's really just Googling private label makeup, private label skincare, private label hair care. And you've got to go deep on those Google searches, y'all, because they are not manufacturers. They're not marketers. So they may be on page 20, but you need to go deep. So what are we looking for when we make our list of manufacturers? We're looking for someone that specializes in what you want. So I don't care where they're located. They can be in California and you can be in Italy. It doesn't matter. I work with brands everywhere. You're looking for that lab that does the best job in whatever you're looking for, no matter where they're located. So don't worry about location. Fall in love with their expertise, understand what they're doing, and then once you make contact with them, start sampling. So something that's going to come up for you is they're going to ask you to sign a non-disclosure. Feel very confident signing that non-disclosure. Don't worry about it. It's just industry practice.
Right.
Yep. And so sign that NDA and then start requesting samples.
So is the best way to find them just literally to search the product name, like say for example, like oil cleanser, like private label manufacturer? Is that the
It would
right?
be like private label skincare would be
Okay.
probably there. You could probably go deep like private label brows, private label lashes, but I would still probably go more generic like hair, cosmetics, skincare, makeup. I wouldn't necessarily, you can try product specific, but again, their SEO is not great. Their ad strategies don't exist.
Right.
So it's not something that they understand. And it's interesting, the reason they don't do any marketing is they're full.
Is that they're old, sorry?
They're already full. Like their
Oh, they're
businesses are
full.
full. They're full. There's long lead times. They don't want to work with newbies. Let's just be honest. They want to work with people that understand marketing, understand the process, that will respond. Understand this is not an easy process. And so I don't sometimes think manufacturers even want to be found.
So how do you kind of go about talking with a manufacturer that isn't necessarily interested in working with you because you're new and don't have experience?
So it's such a great question, and this is what I teach my clients. Couple things. One, we keep our emails brief because you're prepared now, right? You've come to the email with, exactly what you're looking for, the packaging, all the good stuff. So you say, hi, I'm Alexis. I'm looking for eyebrow samples. What's the next step? That's it. You keep it a short paragraph. You're not telling them your whole story about how this is your dream and your kids are excited. You want to make legacy. You're just making it incredibly brief because they've got 1,000 of you coming to them.
So you don't have to ask them for like a specific product. You just ask them like, what do you have available kind of
What
thing?
you have available, because oftentimes manufacturers, some of the more savvy manufacturers that are traditionally set up as private label will list their products on their website. Majority of them have a price list, and then even more of them have like, well, we can create anything. What do you really want?
Yeah. Okay, that's great to know. So they're going to send you samples. And how much can you expect to pay for those samples?
Samples range in really anywhere from like $1 to 10, and usually they're small size samples. Some of the, like there's one website I really like is Nardo's private label. You can just order samples online. One thing you have to be really mindful though when you're working with labs is I like to work with a variety of them just so you can understand what the cost that they're going to pay for the finished product is, because it can range. There's a really pretty company called Dreamline. They have everything nicely packaged and well done, but guess what? You're paying $5 to $10 more for that product than you are at another lab.
Right. So when you request the samples, I guess you also request like a list of their pricing.
Their price list. And also when you're getting started, don't feel overwhelmed if maybe you really only want to start with 25, but you get the pricing for 1,000, because eventually as your business scales, you'll be buying at that 1,000 unit price. So the 25, 50, 100 units will be high, but what is their 1,000 unit pricing? Is it comparable to where everyone else is? If that's the case, then we can work with that manufacturer.
So you suggest like contacting multiple manufacturers and getting like different samples to see like the quality, all of that stuff. And what should you look for when actually choosing the right manufacturer to work with?
So I call your manufacturer, it's like getting married, you guys. They are your partner in this business. And so I like to call it's like a dating process. So the first email, we're looking for communication, right? We're looking for speed of getting samples out. We're looking for how easy is it to work together. And then also, of course, we're looking for like how stable are they? So COVID showed a lot of people's hands and that they ran out of raw materials and ran out of packaging. So how stable is their business? So we're looking for all of those kind of things. And if everything's a fit, then go for it. I personally will send out a project of 3 to 5 different manufacturers when we're working on it, and then we'll deduce it down to 2. I love to always have a backup.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so when thinking about manufacturers, you also have to think about like the pricing. Obviously, you said there's ones that like have beautiful like packaging, but they're more expensive. So what kind of price, like, do you have any like formulas or ideas of like how to figure out if this is something that you can actually afford and if the pricing works for you?
Yes, so write this down, guys. I'm about to break it down.
Okay, let's break it down. Write this down, guys.
So hair care, we really want to spend anywhere from $3 to $8, right, on private label formulation, and that's
per product, like per item.
Per item. That's assuming a $50 to $250 or 250 units that you're purchasing.
Okay.
Prices will drop as if, and that's a variable of products from hair oil to shampoos to conditioners to twisting creams to all the things. Skincare, a good skincare range is about $4 to $6. Anything outside of that, if it's more than that, it can be like a high performance, maybe an SPF, or you're working with a lab called BAMMD that have really, really targeted products. So for estheticians, sometimes you can pay more depending on the potency of the product.
Okay.
Skincare is around $4 to $6. Anything outside of that range, we need to look at why. Is it the packaging or is it the formulation? Sometimes when you have a formula that has a lot of actives in it, it makes sense why it's more. But if you're paying $17, $20 for a private label formulation, which I've seen a lot in skincare, you're way overpaying. Like way overpaying.
Okay, that's good to know. What about makeup, like cosmetics?
Yeah, so cosmetics, a good lash brow product is going to come in anywhere from $375 to $575.
Okay.
That's pretty standard. Anything above, below, it just means that either they're buying, reselling, or there's a lot of different things that happen in our industry.
Okay.
So it's good to know, because what'll happen is when you start Googling, you're going to get a wide range, and we just want to understand, well, what's the normal range of it?
Yeah, that's good to know. So you said that you can expect to buy like between 25 and 50. Is that what you would suggest to start out with?
Depends on how big your audience is. So there's a couple different variables. If you're a skilled marketer, or you have a pop-in off salon that people want to buy your products, buy 100, start with 100, 250, 500, right? If you're totally new, 25 to 50 is great. Even if it's more for the first run, just because you're testing a marketplace, you're getting the confidence to learn how to sell it. You're learning all those kind of things. So there's no shame in starting really, really small when you're just getting started, because you just got to practice, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're good, if you already know your audience is ready, you buy 100, 250, 500. One of the things we also teach is selling out is not sexy. A lot of people are like, I sold out. Yeah, okay. And now you're waiting 6 to 8 weeks to get products in.
Oh, so you got to watch out for that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like a good problem to have, but at the same time, once it actually happens, you're like, I'm screwed.
I had one client, she sold out last Black Friday and just got product in this June.
Ooh.
Because it hit the supply chain, her suppliers in Europe, there were so many issues that really were out of her control.
Yeah. So, so say you're starting out with, let's say, one product, and you said you can expect to pay maybe for skincare like $8 per unit. So you buy 100, and that's $800. I feel like that is not actually as expensive as I thought it was going to be.
It's really not. So there's other things that go into it, right? I'm sorry I don't have a tremendous amount of packaging, but I'll talk about this. So this is a line I did for Wendy Williams makeup artist.
That's so pretty.
Super pretty, right? And so we did everything custom. So we took, they customized this formulation, but this packaging is not your stock standard private label packaging. This is just your, this is a custom formulation. So
is that like a facial mist or something?
This is a hydrator. It's like a serum.
Okay.
And so if you take, let's say if you don't take their stock formulation and you add a package like this, well, this bottle's $1.50. So now we're at what, $9.50. And then let's say you add this cool box, which is really cool. I love this box. You're adding another $1.50. So we're adding $3 onto your $8 cost.
Okay.
Right? Which is fine. I forgot what they sell this product for, maybe between $60 and $90, somewhere in between there.
That's still a really good markup.
That's a really good markup. And skincare and hair oils have those kind of margins in there. Now I'm saying that, don't go off and be like, okay, I'm dumping my hair product, I want to go do skin. Do the thing you're passionate about. You'll sell more of it.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So how does it work for the packaging part? Because you said, I feel like the packaging is not just an afterthought. I feel like the packaging is actually extremely important, because we're talking about private labeling, and we're talking about products that other businesses might share the same formulation and the same product. So one of the big differentiators is the packaging. So can we talk about that?
Absolutely. So I always, like, this is a stock or a custom packaging. They had to buy 5,000 of these, right? And we bought 2 different sizes. So they're in 10,000, they have 5,000 of each of $1.50.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So plus the cost of the product, which you said is about like $8, $9. So like, let's say it's 10 and 5,000. So they have to, like, that's $50,000 per product.
Yes. If so the beautiful thing is they didn't fill everything. They left it empty, so they just filled 500. But they had to purchase all
Oh, okay, okay.
and they stored in
That's
a warehouse.
better at
That's
least.
better, right? Exactly. But let's just say that you don't have that kind of money, and I'm sorry, you guys. I wish I knew we were doing show and tell. Show and tell is so much easier for my business.
I love it. It just makes it so much more real.
Okay, so y'all good with this? Let's talk about it. So,
Yeah.
what do you do? So one thing that you can do is a lot of private label companies have these kind of bottles. Have you seen them?
Mm-hmm.
So you can take the packaging that's stock as is and design it just as they say, or you could do something a little different and put a square label on top, right? You have to get a little bit creative in what you're doing. I love customizing everything. I don't do anything stock. Like I'll take their stock bottles and make it really, really cute. And I'll do that either like this is a basic like bottle, a basic bottle, but we could put a really pretty label on top of it.
Yeah.
And, right. And so one thing we'll do is either we'll change the label color so it won't just be what is available, or we'll change the packaging altogether. And that's usually all with in-stock packaging. This particular company is called APC Packaging. They have a lot of different bottles that are in stock. And then sometimes we'll either add an outer box to it, depending on the cost and the margins and all that kind of stuff, or we'll even add like a paper tube to it. So there's
That's
a lot of
pretty.
yeah.
How does that work? So you work with the packaging company and they ship the packaging off to the manufacturer?
Yep, so there's 3 steps. So we work with the packaging company, we'll work with a label company, and then oftentimes my clients will do these kind of mailer boxes as well.
That is so pretty.
Isn't this cute? This is a hairline. There's no product in it because I love her brand. I personally use it, but the packaging is cute. So there's oftentimes three.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That we do. So, anyways, there's a lot of things that go into it, but you can take majority of my clients use stock packaging because custom is, as you see, 5,000 units is a lot, and they will make it just look super cute. And so
that box there, is that like stock packaging? They just had it printed?
Yep, this one is a stock packaging mailer.
Okay.
That they just put their logo on and had it designed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Really, and they use traditional, this is not their product, but they use traditional jars, and they use a traditional dropper for their hair product, and they just wrapped it in a label that matches this kind of box, and it's good to go. So even if you can't afford these $5,000, 5,000 units, there's so much that you can do with stock, with labels.
Yeah. So they do ship it over to the manufacturer, and then the manufacturer takes care of like filling up those bottles, putting it inside the packaging, and then shipping it to you essentially.
Shipping it to you, yep. So they'll get everything separate. A manufacturer, they'll get the jars. It'll be totally empty. Usually they fill first and then they label, depending on the type of product. And labels usually go on a roll. Sometimes we'll see them in a sheet, like when we go online, but they'll go on a roll and they'll put a jar like this and just label it. And then they'll put this and they'll put it in their retail box. And then they call it kitting. If it has a box like this, they'll fill the box, put all the pieces in there and kit it, and then ship it to you or to your fulfillment.
I love that. Is there an extra cost to them doing all of that?
It's about, the kitting pieces usually run anywhere from 25 to 50 cents. But hey, listen, that 25 to 50 cents is not you at home with your kids and all the pieces.
Yes, I love that. That's so cool. I'm seeing these questions come in, guys. So if you've got more questions for Melody, please put them in the comments. We're going to do a Q&A in just a bit. So the packaging is super important. That's what, you can't underestimate packaging. That's what gets people to say like, oh, this is an amazing product. This is something that stands out. This is for me. So most of us are not designers. So what kind of advice do you have for someone to make packaging that looks really pretty?
Okay, great question. Not only does it have to look pretty, guys, you've got to understand how things are printed. And so we need to work with a designer that does beauty packaging specifically, because a lot of times they'll do fantastic mock-ups and they don't work in real life.
Yeah.
So find a beauty packager. I love going on Behance. I love going even to Fiverr. We're looking for someone that does beauty packaging. So a lot of times people make mistakes that they'll hire a designer who will do their website, their social media, and their packaging. Well, guess what? Packaging is complicated, and even matching blacks are complicated. Like black, that color black is not exactly a straight color. It's so many different colors to it. So we need to have someone that understands that if I like, there's gold here. I don't know if you can see that. If I want to print this gold foil, I need to use a certain foil color. Otherwise, it's going to come out brown in the label process.
Right.
They need to understand, this is called silk screen printing, that if I do this, if I don't line this up correctly, it's not going to print well. So there's a lot of things. So we need to find someone that understands beauty packaging, and then also your local laws. So Canada has more advanced laws than America does, right? And so things will have to be printed in French, as well as in English. So they need to understand your local laws, or you need to give them the right information to lay it all out on the label, sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is fun. Let me see if I can show you a label. Also, for a lot of you guys are like, well, I don't even understand how it works. Let me show you guys. You guys caught me on a good day because I was just about to send out these things to a client in Hong Kong. I'm
glad we get to see the inside of how things work.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can get this off. She's gonna be like, what? So I nail it off today, which I am. Anyways, okay, so I'm pulling off this label. So I want to show you guys a good label layout. So a label is laid out in thirds, right? So the logo always goes in the front, and then the ingredients, and then the suggested use. This is all required by the FDA. If you're doing a skincare, hair care, makeup is a little bit different in the labeling. Brows are a little bit different. It's always laid out in thirds because when it's applied from the front and the back, all you see is the logo. And I just applied that poorly, but all you see is the logo, and in the front, the logo is nicely centered.
Yeah.
So those are all things that, they're little details and nuances, but matter. If you go to print and they just do a pretty mock-up and then you print it on the real label and it doesn't line up and it looks funny, these are the reasons why.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So are there any other steps, like in terms of once you work with the manufacturer, you get the packaging, they ship it off to your house, I guess, and then you've got like all these products there at your house that you have to figure out what you're going to do with them. Are there any other steps that we're missing?
Product liability is super important. As you guys, I was talking about, if somebody has a reaction, we need to be prepared for that.
Right.
Product price is a whole nother conversation, but just remember, marketplace sets the value.
Yeah.
And then really the other step is taking off your product development hat and putting on your marketing hat.
Yes, that is my favorite part. I'm a marketer and I love like the selling and that kind of thing because we have a product now. So obviously it depends on where you're selling it. Like if you're selling it in your salon, a lot of it just has to do with like talking to your clients about it and, educating and all of that. What if we want to start selling online? Like I'm sure you've seen a lot of brands that go online. What are the things that either make or break? Like what are the big differentiators you've seen with like companies and brands that sell well and ones that just kind of like have a hard time selling?
Whew, that's a really great question. And I'm glad you're a marketer so we can have this conversation. You guys. Don't create a product without it being a plan to acquire customers. So what do I mean by that? I won't even launch a line or put it in production until they built an email list. Brooklyn will tell you. She launched her list, and you'll get sales from your friends and family. But once you have that email list, well, now you have consistent sales. And so without having a plan to, yes, you can build your site in Shopify. Yes, your product exists. But if we don't have an audience, particularly an email list and an ad strategy, I really am not interested in what your social media looks like. We're really not going to make consistent sales.
So you think that the email list is more important than Instagram followers?
All day, every day. So I think Instagram followers are really important. So they go hand in hand, right? Everything feeds itself, but the audience is first. An email list, you need a social media that, of course, mirrors that you can communicate with people and talk to them. But industry-wide, Instagram sales from your Instagram is only about 5% in beauty. Everything else, 30, 40% in your email list, the rest is ads, right?
That's so good to know.
Yeah.
I knew, like, obviously my email list is super important. That's how I make majority of my sales. Majority of people who actually ended up joining this brand lab, if they didn't get invited from one of our speakers like you, they found this event through my email list or through my ads. Like you said, like advertising is also really good because you reach new audiences.
Yep. And you retarget those people that hop on and meant to buy, but they left and they're something, right? Because I do that all the time. I mean to buy something, and my daughters are like, hey mom, I have 5 children. They're like, hey mom, and I'm like, dang it, I gotta get back to it. Yes. So you guys, we hold launches if they don't have an email list. So you need to be like, people love product development because it's fun and pretty, but listen, these products have expiration dates. They have a 2-year expiration date.
Yeah.
So that's why I say don't buy a lot if you're not already a seasoned marketer. And it's not rocket science. There's actually a formula to marketing. It's just learning for us oftentimes a new skill set. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So definitely look at building up your audience beyond just your clientele and see how you can like build an email list, work on Facebook and Instagram advertising. Having an email list is like a whole other conversation, which if you guys want to chat about that, we can talk about it in the group, but such an important thing to have. One other thing that I've seen makes a huge difference. I don't know what you think about this, Melody, but having professional photos of your products.
Yes. Right, absolutely. That's so important. You guys can't shoot it yourself. You can spend $30, $40. A lot of companies that'll do professional photos. Even my lighting is really terrible, but I can't find my ring lights because we just moved. But you have to have that. Also, I missed a step, you guys, and I apologize for this, but we've got to understand the problem that we're solving in the marketplace.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of sea of products, and if we just make a general skincare, one thing people always say is like, I want to make skincare line for 20 to 55. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 43. My skin was very different at 30, very different at 20. Right? We've got to be really, really clear on the problem that we're solving in the marketplace, because otherwise, even if you have pretty packaging and whatever, people don't understand what it's for. And so if you're someone out there that's like, I talk all day about hair loss, or I talk all day about how to hydrate colored hair or whatever, or if you're like, I really love doing eyebrows and I teach people how to do eyebrows. Well, guess what? That's still a problem that you're solving in the marketplace. And you need to be making sure that all of your messaging is around that and your brand is really focused on one thing.
Yeah.
Once you get that one thing down and we get traction in the marketplace and you're known for something, well, then you can do line extensions and scale to everything else that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to go into Q&A in just a second. So guys, if you've got so many last minute questions, pop them into the comments. Final question I want to ask you is for the Brands Lab, the theme of this event is all about personal branding. So really like becoming the face and voice and kind of like spokesperson for your business. How do you see that, like having a personal brand translating into product sales? Like, can you give some examples of people that you know who have really like had great success with their product sales because they, as a person, were really front and center in like their marketing and their promotion and all of that?
So I have two philosophies on this. So yes, we give examples, right? Look at the Kardashians. They're the face of their brand.
Yeah.
A Bee with Honey Pot, right? She's always been the face of her brand. When you get to a certain level as a small startup, your role almost exclusively is to be the face of your brand, almost exclusively. You're the CEO, you're the face, you're interacting with people. That is your job to move the brand forward. Now, I will also say there's a lot of people that I know that build brands that don't have a face. So like Native Deodorant. Nobody knows the owner. Can you guys name the owner of Native Deodorant? No, he sold for $100 million. Nobody knows the owner. So it is important, and I think being an influencer is super, super important. You get a lot of opportunities, a lot of speaking engagements, but also know if you're someone that's super, super shy and you're like, I don't want to do it, you don't have to. You just, like Sand and Sky is another example. Sand and Sky, Coco and Eve. The owners of that brand are probably maybe mid-40s, and they sell to 20-year-olds, right? Their face of their brand is their audience, is their influencers. So you can do both. You can do both. I think for a majority of us, being prepared to be the face is the best thing to do, because you'll be able to grow faster because we connect with people really well.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. Great answer. Okay, here's Stephanie asked, I actually wanted to ask you this question. Not sure if it's been asked, but what's the investment for creating your own product line? Does it differ? So can we talk about like really quickly, like custom formulations and like custom products, how it's different?
So with custom, you'll run into some R&D fees. Usually, let's just say it's $2,000 to $5,000 with the lab. We'll create that formulation for you. Usually have 3 to 4 revisions. And then you have higher minimums because it's custom just for you. You'll have to buy 500,000, maybe 2,000 products. And you have to supply your own packaging. So it is more expensive. You're probably looking at $5,000 to $7,000. depending on how fancy you get with the packaging.
Okay, that's good to know. So it's quite a bit more expensive. I guess the advantage is that you could sell something that sells really well because it's so unique and there's nothing like it on the market.
And you get to customize your every part of it, the formula, and your per unit cost is lower than private label usually.
Okay, awesome. So do you have any like final tips for someone who's like, I think I'm ready. Like, I feel like this isn't as expensive as I thought. It's not as complicated as I thought. Like, do you have any final advice for, making your own brand and product line?
Sure. So my two things, you guys, is COVID has created an amazing opportunity. Brands are launching and having sales with little to no audience because people are home more. So it's a great window of time right now to start an e-commerce business. And then number two, my favorite saying is be here next year, because the brands that do the best are here over the long haul. So if things don't go well that first year, it's okay.
Yes, yes. So don't give up at the beginning. Keep on going. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the more that you work on things, the better you'll get at them. So I love that. Thank you so much, Melody. Honestly, I'm seeing in the comments, people are saying it's so helpful. Guys, show some love to Melody in the comments. I want to just give her all the appreciation because it's been so helpful. I know that I'm not going to make my own line of products, but honestly, hearing you talk makes me so oh my gosh, I totally need to do that. So who knows, maybe it's in the cards for me one day, but I loved it. It just seems so much more doable than I thought.
It really is. And you guys, everyday people are making a lot of money with this. And that's the thing that gets me going is Brooklyn's a stay-at-home mom with her son. She can replace her income and create a nice lifestyle for their family. This is very, very doable for you guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to be L'Oreal anymore. Thank goodness for the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And so if anyone wants to learn more about private labeling or work with you, how can they get in touch with you?
So the best thing to do is to send me an email at melody@privatelabelInsider.com or connect on Instagram at beautybizexpert. You can also visit our website. It's privatelabelInsider.com. And myself or one of our team members will get back to you guys. But I love working with clients, so expect to be loved on, and we kind of walk you through the process of it all, so you're definitely not alone.